any machine that can be claimed as incredible but not perfect, this motorcycle right here would fit that particular bracket perfectly. Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been more than 6.5 months since I have owned this one hell of a machine, Royal Enfield Himalayan 2021, and here are my thoughts and ownership review and the overall bike review of this beautiful motorcycle. (3,450 kilometers on the odometer), and what a perfect time to review this incredible bike, as I said earlier. Now this is the Pine Green 2021 Royal Enfield Himalayan. Now this the latest version of the Himalayan, and Royal Enfield says that they have fixed all the flaws that were encountered during the earlier version of the bike. Initially when the bike was launched, there were a lot of own flaws or problems or errors, that you can call it as, let it be its chassis problems, let it be its starting problems, let it be its coil problems. It had its own set of errors, and Royal Enfield says that they have improvised all of it, and this is their all new offering. Now let's take a quick walk around of the bike. Coming from the front, the latest update on the latest variant is this tall and wider windscreen. Moving on, the entire front part remains the same as the older version. Now another changed part from the older version is this jerry can holder. This has been made shorter, since tall riders over 6 feet used to hit their knees, so they've made it comparatively shorter. Coming to the engine, again the same 411cc single cylinder air cooled engine that produces 23.5 PS of power and 32 Newton meters of torque. Now mind you, this is a long stroke engine, meaning the gear shifts are going to be longer, again adding to its off-roading capability. Moving on, we have a beautiful Himalayan badging here. Now this has always caught my mind, you know, like it looks beautiful. The graphic itself of the Himalayan, the way it is written, just looks beautiful. Now why the name Himalayan? Let's talk about the tire profile for that. Front comes at 21 inches and rear comes at 17 inches. Both are tube tires. I know this is 21st century. Royal Enfield, what are you doing? Come on, man. But then there is a reason for that. Both are spoked non-alloy tube wheels. Now this, why is this spoked wheels given, is for the main reason because of its off-roading capability. Now alloys, yes, but according to me at least, alloys are not as strong as spoked wheels. So when you take it to a beating on the off-roads or the trail rides, this will hold much longer compared to the alloys. But again, if you face a puncture on the highways or anywhere you're riding, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Moving on to the rear, we have a beautiful disc brake. Now braking is not very good, but it is apt. Comes with both front and back disc brakes and dual channel ABS, where the rear channel ABS is switchable. You can turn it on or off depending on where you're riding. If you're taking it to a trail ride, you can switch off the rear ABS and go on. Now another new add-on to the latest version is this top rack or luggage rack or whatever you want to call it, and this has been made more flatter compared to the older version. On the older version, this used to be at an elevated level compared to the back seat, but now it has been made more plush and in line with the back seat. The max load says 7 kgs. So you can have your dirt sack bags or your luggage racks or whatever you want to have, and you can have it here. Moving on to this side of the bike, again, see, just this badging looks amazing, and the overall color scheme of the bike is very eye-catchy, and it is just beautiful. Coming to the gearbox, comes with a standard usual 5-speed Royal Enfield gearbox. Another latest add-on feature for this bike is the tripper navigation module, integrated along with the speedometer. Now the speedometer stays same as the older version, but this alone has been changed and added on. Now this has been taken from the Meteor, but it works just fine. Now talking about the speedometer console, we have the speedometer here, we have the gear level indicator, the trip A, trip B, the time, the ambient temperature, the odometer. This is the fuel gauge, a tripper This is the tachometer or the RPM meter, however you want to call it, and this is the select button. This is the ABS switch on or off button, and this is the mode button. Shows you turn by turn navigation. It is very small to my liking, but then works fine. Now how do you access the maps through that is you connect it through your phone to the Royal Enfield app. It is integrated with Google Maps app and it works seamlessly. Google Maps is the best. Another new feature on the bike is the seat. Now in the Royal Enfield, according to me at least, I own a Classic. I have owned a Classic before. I still own a Classic. One of the baddest features of the bike was the seat. Now, but the Himalayan bike, it was the only bike that had comfortable seats. But this is very comfortable compared to the previous version. Royal Enfield says that they have changed the compound to be a bit more on the stiffer side. It is very comfortable. You can easily ride 300-400 kilometers a day easily with no pain at all. So this is another add-on feature. Okay, once we have done a complete walk around the bike, now let us talk one of the most important aspect of any bike, that is the performance of the bike. Now this, as I told you earlier, is a 411cc single cylinder air cooled engine that produces 23.5 PS at 32 Newton meters of torque. Now this is more of an off-roading or adventure tourer bike or a tourer bike or whatever you call it, not a speedster where you can expect high triple digit speeds. No, this is not meant for that. This has its own sweet spot. Completing that sentence, the initial torque that you get from the bike is just top notch, top quality, amazing, too good. Since it is an off-roading bike, that is the most essential part of any off-roading bike. The initial torque, if you gear down on the first gear, leave the clutch, it pulls. Talking about the mid-range, has a decent mid-range power as well. At the high end, the bike doesn't pull that much as you expect it to. Again, that would be expecting too much from this bike. Another important aspect of any bike is the suspension. Now the Himalayan at the front comes with a conventional 41mm forks that offers travel up to 200mm. At the rear, it is a single shock absorber. Now for those of you who don't understand the technical aspects, this is bit more on the softer side of the scale, but it is not too soft. It is good enough suspension for the off-roading kind of capability that this bike offers. Time to rate the bike on its A, B and C categories. Now if you don't already know what A, B and C categories is, guys, subscribe to my channel and check out all my videos. Now I review any bike under these three main important aspects: acceleration, braking and clutch. Now the acceleration on this bike is not very good, it is decent. So out of 5, I would give it a 2.5. Now let's talk about braking. Now let me talk about individual rear and the front brake. This comes with a dual disc brake, dual channel ABS with switchable ABS on the rear. So the front, the bite is very good, but the rear brake bite is again decent. I would give it out of a 5, again a 2 for its braking. Now next is the clutch. The clutch is butter smooth on the Royal Enfield. I know I told you that the gearbox is a bit hard for the first and second gear, but the clutch, Royal Enfield has come a long way with its clutch. It is very smooth. Now if you just see the play here, see, I can just move it with my single thumb. It is that butter smooth clutch. For the Royal Enfield to have this smooth a clutch is too good, so I would give it easily a 4 out of 5. Now is the time to talk about the advantages and flaws of this bike. Now talking about the advantage, for me at least, the main advantage of this bike is its price tag. Beautifully priced, perfectly priced, very apt for what you're getting onto your pocket. Another advantage of this bike, which adds a strong point to the overall selling point of the bike, is the overall ergonomics of the bike. Now the seat height of this bike is just 800mm from the ground, which means that it can compensate riders with even shorter height. Now I'm talking about the overall ergonomics. The seating position of the bike is upright, which means the handlebars are not too wide or not too narrow. It is just perfect for touring long distances and very comfortable. Royal Enfields are known to be customizable to your like and your tasting, and this bike again fits that bracket perfectly. this has a lot of factors where you can customize it to your taste and your liking. Since we've talked a lot about advantages, time to talk about the errors or disadvantages or flaws or areas of improvement that the Royal Enfield can notice. One is the build quality. I know that Royal Enfields have come a long way in terms of build quality, but that fit and finish, that OEM fit and finish, is not what I expect it to be. Now if you can come forward, let me just give you one typical example of that. See this gap here between these. This is not the perfect. This should be, slush, and it should be perfect, which isn't that. Second disadvantage of the bike is, again, which I told it to be an advantage. It comes with two wheels both at the front and the back. Now I know it adds to the off-roading capabilities, but when you're touring and if you have a puncture, you're going to have a tough time. Another disadvantage or area of improvement is the headlight of the bike. Now we are in 21st century. I don't know why Royal Enfield is doing this. Again, no LED headlamps in the front. It is an old style halogen bulb, so it doesn't do a very good job in the highways. It is decent for cities, but for highway riding you need an extra set of good lights. Another disadvantage, and I hope this will be the final one, is the gearbox. The first and the second gear sits in or slots in very hard. I don't know, let me try and show it to you if that is possible. Let me just turn on the bike. See that thud? That thud? That is a very hard gearbox, at least for the first and the second gear. Third, fourth and fifth are smooth. Talking on the gearbox, Royal Enfield should have given extra sixth gear for this bike on the highways. I don't know why they gave only fifth gear. That is one flaw. The last and the final one that I would like to see changed on my bike is these set of mirrors. Now for the city, again, they do a perfect job, but when you're riding at speeds of 105, 110, triple digit speeds, basically this goes like this. See how easily I can move it? This goes like this. So the other day, a funny story, I was going on the highway, I was cruising at around 100, 102, and I was trying to overtake another vehicle, and I tried to notice on my rear mirror, I can't see the rear mirror. Why? The mirror has gone down like this. So again, I know Royal Enfield provides touring mirrors, which again comes at a hefty price of around 5,000 rupees, but these need to be sturdier enough. Time to talk about the ownership experience before we wrap this video up. The ownership experience includes what I think about the bike on a final notice after around 2,500 kilometers, the service cost, the mileage, the issues that I faced, what I would like to have changed on my bike. Now let me start from the delivery day of the bike. 3 days after I took the delivery day of the bike, I faced the cone set issue. Now if you are a Himalayan owner or researching about buying the Himalayan, you know about the cone set issue. If you don't, the Himalayan had this one issue since its inception, is that the cone set issue. A lot of people have a lot of debate saying why that issue exists, but then I faced the issue. What was happening was, while I was riding the bike, let me sit down and show it to you. I was riding the bike at around say 80 kilometers per hour, and I take off. I know I should be doing that, but again, when I take off my hands off the handlebar, the bike should move on a straight path. Now what was happening to my bike was, the bike was pulling left, say going at around the third lane at 80 kilometers per hour. For a change, you leave a bike, oh my god, what beautiful, I'm vlogging, what beautiful weather, and I'm saying, and I see my bike is not in this lane, it has come to this lane. Oh my god, it is the third day, and that was one bad aspect of the bike, because it was a brand new bike. It was the third day, and nicely I'm vlogging. I'm like, hello guys, what beautiful weather, nice bike, new bike, I'm riding. 2 minutes later I see, oh my god, I'm in the middle lane, not in the lastmost lane. So the cone set issue existed on this bike, but then when I took back to the service center, they did do it for free of cost. Obviously comes with 3 years warranty, but then I had to leave the bike in the service station for nearly 3 days. Initially they couldn't make out what the issue with the bike was. I told them it was the cone set issue. They tried to change the front wheel. A lot of things were changed, because again, I wouldn't blame the service center for this. They were very helpful, because this was as I was told by my dealership, this was the first pine green Himalayan in the entire South India. So on any new bike that you buy, right, that is into the market for the first time, they don't repair it, even if they know what the issue is, they will have to change in the manufacturing line. So they'll have to wait for someone from the manufacturing plant to come down and to have a look at the issue. That was one big bummer, because for me, I understand totally what the dealership was trying to do or what Royal Enfield was trying to do. But for me, this was a brand new bike. I have got it to ride it at the third day of my ownership. I go it and leave it for nearly 2 to 3 days in the dealership. That is not what I expect from a brand new bike. So I think Royal Enfield is improving that, but this is high time, guys. You have to improve. Now let's talk about the service cost of the bike. It's not a very high maintenance, it's comparatively very low maintenance bike. Now I have completed 2 services on this bike. The first, both are free services. The first service was due for around 500 kilometers or 45 days. Second service was at 3000 kilometers or 3 months. Now again, the service bill was very cheap in comparison to other bikes. First service bill, the free service bill, came up to around somewhere around 600 to 900 rupees. That's it. The second service came up to around 1100 rupees. That is all. So it is a very cheap maintenance bike. Coming to the third ownership aspect of the bike is the mileage. Now frankly speaking, for checking the mileage, I have, on the perspective of checking the mileage, I have never fueled the bike for fuel tank and then noted down the kilometers and ridden. No. So I would tested this once, but not on a true checking perspective. I have say around 30 to 35 kilometers is what I saw on the bike, because this has still not set. Again, three services need to be done for the engine to be set properly and to get the proper economy from the bike. So expect at around 30 to 35 kilometers per liter from this bike. Time to wrap up the video after reviewing this beautiful bike. Now I have put out my thoughts. I haven't gone too technical because that's not what I see in a review for a bike. So I have shared my ownership experience, what I found out to be an advantage, what I found out to be a flaw or a disadvantage, and what all I experienced throughout this 6.5 months journey with the bike. Now mind you, this is not perfect, but I love this bike. It is an incredible bike. You can rely it anytime, any day. Just perfect bike. And if you're planning to buy it, you're going to have a wonderful, joyful time with the bike. With that said, I would like to wrap this video up. Thank you all for watching. Happy journey, happy riding. If you're having plans of buying this bike and thinking about second thoughts, don't. Just go for it. You're going to love this. With that said, I would like to thank a couple of people. Firstly, thanks to Rohit from Acclaim Motors for giving this bike on such a short delivery notice. I would always be thankful for Rohit for that. Thanks Rohit, and special thanks to service team at Acclaim, to the whole of Acclaim team for helping me maintain this bike, deliver this bike. Thanks a lot. And not last but not the least, thanks to my sister for keeping up with this video and shooting it multiple times, multiple takes. Thanks a lot, Ale. Thank you. See you in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, follow me on Instagram for seeing some kick-ass pictures of this bike. See you in the next one. Until then, take care and like, share and subscribe. Bye.